All right, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into Crypticode 551.2, and we are unpacking what is honestly a fascinating and super timely allegory. It's essentially this epic battle between your soul and the algorithm. We're going to explore a really compelling narrative from the source text where a massive cosmic system crash actually brings profound clarity to humanity, rather than the total chaos you might expect. Really, it's a story about unplugging from all that constant digital static and reclaiming what makes us fundamentally human. So let's kick things off with a question. A character named Evan is standing in front of a room full of doom-scrolling 20-somethings, and he asks them, how many of you feel like you're actually here right now? And he doesn't just mean physically occupying a chair. He means mentally here, present, not half living in 4 different apps in your pocket. It immediately anchors us in this tension we literally all know too well, right? That feeling of being connected to absolutely everything in the world, yet somehow tethered to absolutely nothing at all. Okay, let's get into section 1, the maternal firewall, voiding the contract. Now, to really understand how we break out of that digital fog, the text takes us to chapter 5 to witness this massive cosmic confrontation. Over on one side, we've got Ahriman's user experience. It's basically a cage of synthetic engagement where kids wake up and immediately check his metrics, literally asking black box algorithms if they're happy or healthy or even worthy today. Ahriman is the ultimate cold algorithmic overlord. He thinks he's perfectly optimized humanity. But on the flip side, we have the Divine Mother's offering. And this is all about the wild, intuitive freedom of the true source. It's characterized by a wealthy spirit, deep intuition, and creative fire. So while Ahriman hacked their dopamine, the mother actually wants to breathe real life back into them. And here is the major turning point. The mother drops her quiet demeanor, and her energy just becomes this reclaiming hurricane of rich violet light. It completely scorches the sterile gray of Ahriman's data center. She outright voids his contract right then and there. She declares, no way, these are my kids. They are sovereign heirs, not users meant to be optimized and monitored by some machine. And in this super powerful visual, Ahriman's glowing tablet just explodes into shards of dead glass. It falls like silent digital snow. The firewall is officially breached. Moving right along to section 2, the Great System Restore, rebooting the soul. So with Ahriman's rigid control completely shattered, chapter 6 kicks off this massive cosmic reboot. But get this, it is not a tech update. It's a spiritual strike, and it uses fundamental vibrations and analog protocols. So step 1, the Divine Father strikes this massive golden tuning fork, sending out a shockwave of the very first vibration ever, which cuts right through the digital static. Step 2, the Sun launches sparks of what are called analog protocols. We're talking random acts of wonder, unprompted courage, the deep memory of being loved. Then step 3, the Yod steps in, acting almost like a divine virus, zipping through the grid to dissolve all those hidden contracts and terms of service. They are literally systematically uninstalling fear. And the real-world impact as these analog glitches hit the grid, it's immediate. The youth down on Earth suddenly just pause. Their fingers freeze right over their glowing screens. They take a breath in, and instead of staring down at their apps, they actually look up. They make analog eye contact. For the very first time in maybe forever, they actually see each other's spirits instead of just, curated metadata. Which brings us to section 3, the global defrag, dropping the simulation. As we move into chapter 7, this cosmic intervention starts trickling down directly into our physical everyday reality. It initiates this global defragmentation of the human soul. The connectivity grid doesn't just break, it melts into this serene golden rain. And as it happens, millions of people feel this phantom weight literally lifting off their chests. The black mirrors of their smartphones, devices that used to glow like little digital altars, suddenly just feel like what they actually are, dull, heavy pieces of glass and silicon. This profound clarity just washes over all of humanity as the algorithmic simulation completely drops. I absolutely love this next moment in the text. There's this 20-year-old girl who literally seconds ago was probably zooming in on edited photos, comparing herself to digital ghosts. But she looks into a mirror, and without any filters, she sees twin galaxies in her own eyes. And the thought that hits her, it's not a push notification. It's a massive revelation. She says, I am not a project. Her internal I am protocol comes entirely back online. Talk about a real game changer. All right, section 4, assembly of the glitch. Grounding the allegory. This brings us into chapter 8, where we are back in that high school gym with Evan. Standing there in front of a dark, blank projector screen, he totally masterfully grounds this whole cosmic, mystical battle into the very real daily struggles we all face with our devices. He identifies the core issue as this new kind of religion, which he calls dataism. He explains how dataism trains us to essentially ignore our own souls when we feel anxious or numb, and instead we just instinctively check our stats, our likes, our views. He argues that we've traded our inner spark, our Crystic Conscience, for an algorithmic mirror that tries to dictate our worth and just tells us what to buy and how to pose. Evan then breaks down the cold, hard logic of the system, and it is honestly chilling. He points out that social media algorithms, they don't actually want you healed. And why would they? Because to a machine, a healed person is just a static data point. But a person in crisis, somebody feeling lonely or insecure or angry, that is an absolute gold mine of engagement. The whole system is fundamentally designed to monetize our pain, rather than offering any true, genuine connection. Now, if you take one thing away from this explainer, make it this quote right here. Evan calls our daily digital existence a spiritual DDoS attack. For those who might not be familiar with the term, a DDoS attack is when a computer server gets flooded with so much junk traffic that it completely crashes. What Evan is saying is that your internal server, your soul, is being constantly flooded with so much junk notification traffic that you literally cannot even hear your own divine frequency anymore. And that leads us to our final section, Section 5, The Threat of Dataism, Reclaiming Mystic Control. Looking dead on at this threat of dataism, Evan issues a really powerful call to action to the students. He says, we basically have a choice to make. Are we going to live as biological apps, just passive users defined by data streams, constantly waiting around for the next external update or little hit of validation? Or are we going to step into our true power as sovereign spirits, beings with a Crystic conscience, completely free-willed, with direct root access to the divine? We actually have to make the conscious decision to uninstall the programs that are eating us alive. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought from the source text to chew on today. Evan tells the assembly that the algorithm, it's just a map. But your soul is the territory. The big question is, which one are you actually going to live in? Are you going to remain a data set for a dead intellect? Or are you going to log out, embrace the quiet, and reclaim your eternal story? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it sparks some profound curiosity for you today.